Once upon a time, on a remote island surrounded by endless waves, there lived a hard-working farmer. This farmer was known for his vast fields, fertile land, and a heart full of dreams. But there was one problem, a problem so big that it threatened to crush his spirit. His farms were large, but there were no laborers to work on them. Every time he managed to find someone willing to work, they would flee as soon as they experienced the island's harsh winds and unpredictable storms. The storms on this island were relentless. They would come without warning, tearing through the fields, uprooting crops, and scattering everything in their path. The laborious would feel defeated, thinking, why should we work so hard if all our efforts will be destroyed by the wind? And so, they left, one after another, leaving the farmer to struggle alone. The farmer was at his wits' end. He couldn't understand how to find someone who would stay, someone who would work with dedication and not give up when the storms came. He felt helpless, watching his dreams wither away like the crops in his fields. One day, exhausted and desperate, the farmer decided to leave the island and travel to the nearby city. He thought, maybe in the city, I'll find someone who's willing to take on this challenge. He placed an advertisement in the local newspaper, calling for laborers to work on his farm. The ad promised fair wages and a place to live, but it didn't mention the storms. Soon, people began to arrive on the island, lured by the promise of work. But as soon as they felt the first gust of wind or saw the dark clouds gathering on the horizon, they packed their bags and left. The farmer's heart sank deeper with each departure. He began to wonder if he would ever find someone who could withstand the storms. Then, one day, a young boy arrived. He was thin, average in height, and didn't look like someone who could handle the hard labor required on the farm. The farmer looked at him skeptically and said, "Son, this work is not for the weak. It requires strength, endurance, and a lot of hard work. Are you sure you can handle it?" The boy smiled calmly and replied, "I can work. Don't worry about my ability. But there's one condition." The farmer raised an eyebrow.
"A condition?
"What is it?"
The boy said. "When the wind blows, I sleep. No matter what happens, you must not disturb me."
The farmer was puzzled. "Sleep? When the storms come, that's when we need to work the hardest to protect the crops and the animals." But the boy stood firm. "That's my condition. If you agree, I'll work for you."
The farmer hesitated.
He didn't have many options left. Reluctantly, he agreed.
"All right, you have a deal.
But remember, if you fail, I won't be able to keep you." The next day, the boy began working on the farm. To the farmer's surprise, the boy worked tirelessly from dawn till dusk. He plowed the fields, planted the seeds, tended to the animals, and did everything with precision and care. The farmer was impressed. For the first time in a long while, he felt a glimmer of hope. Days turned into weeks, and the farm began to flourish. The crops grew tall, the animals were healthy, and the farmer's spirits were lifted. But deep down, he couldn't shake the worry about the boy's strange condition. What will happen when the storm comes? He wondered. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the wind began to howl. The farmer, who had lived on the island for years, knew what was coming. "A storm is brewing," he thought. His heart raced as he grabbed a lantern and rushed to the boy's hut. He banged on the door and shouted, "Wake up!
The storm is coming.
We need to secure the fields and the animals before it's too late." From inside, the boy's voice was calm but firm. "Boss, remember our agreement.
When the wind blows, I sleep. Do not disturb me." The farmer was furious.
"How can you sleep at a time like this? Everything we've worked for could be destroyed." But the boy didn't respond.
Frustrated and desperate, the farmer ran to the fields alone, lantern in hand.
The wind grew stronger, and the sky turned dark. He braced himself for the worst, expecting to see his crops uprooted and his animals scattered. But when he reached the fields, he stopped in his tracks. What he saw left him speechless. The crops were neatly tied down, secured with strong ropes. The cows and bulls were safely sheltered, their pens reinforced to withstand the wind. The hens were tucked away in their shed, the doors tightly closed. Everything was in place, as if someone had anticipated the storm long before it arrived. It was then that the farmer remembered the boy's words, "When the wind blows, I sleep." The boy hadn't been lazy or careless. He had been prepared. While others panicked at the first sign of trouble, he had already done the work needed to protect the farm. He had planned ahead, worked diligently, and ensured that no storm could undo his efforts. The farmer stood there, humbled and inspired. He realized that the boy had taught him a valuable lesson, one that applied not just to farming, but to life itself.
The lesson for all of us.
In life, storms are inevitable. They come in many forms: financial struggles, health challenges, relationship issues, or unexpected setbacks. No matter who you are or where you come from, you will face storms. The question is, are you prepared? The boy in the story didn't fear the storm because he had done the work beforehand. He had taken the time to prepare, to secure what mattered most, and because of that, he could rest peacefully, knowing that no storm could shake him. Let this story remind you that storms don't last forever, but your preparation can make all the difference. Tie down your crops, secure your shed, and build a foundation that can withstand any storm. And when the wind blows, you'll be able to say with confidence, "I am ready. I have done the work. Now, I can sleep."